really excited to talk to you, man. When I got this single a week ago, I was so fucking pumped to see new music
Dope.
from you, man. I
I appreciate that, man.
definitely, man. It's so good to have you back. The new single, Super Jaded, only been
Yeah,
out
man.
for a couple weeks, man. But I'm gonna be honest. I read the Loudwire interview you did, and this is more than for you. This is more than just a song. This is
Right.
this is telling your story. This is very autobiographical. It's very personal. Um, how does it feel to have the song out there and the response being as positive as it is?
Yeah, it's been overwhelming, and the response has been amazing, and it feels like, I mean, I sleep better at night. You know what I mean? I feel like a weight off my shoulders because I've been absent for so long, dude. Like,
Yeah.
out of just, you know, dealing with my own health issues and stuff like that. So it feels amazing to actually have something out there that I really kind of put my stamp on, to kind of like, this is kind of where I'm at and what I'm doing now, kind of thing. And it is kind of back to my roots. So
Mhm.
it feels good, man, to put something out that I'm proud of.
Awesome. It's definitely a different vibe than Lovesick Radio was. That was completely different. Honestly, it had more of a pop feel to it than rock. But I absolutely loved that EP. But from
Oh, thanks,
reading
man.
what I've yeah, man, reading what I've read, that wasn't you. And you were also not in really in that great of a place when that was coming out when you were doing that project.
Yeah, man, it wasn't me at my best, that's for sure, man. It was kind of me experimenting with it, and then and almost kind of like, you know feel like I'm talking about. I feel like I committed to something that was kind of so left field for me, and kind of poppy,
Yeah.
and I think maybe halfway through it, I kind of just been like, man, I don't know if this is it, kind of thing. But I
Right.
mean, I still think the songs were strong,
Yeah.
but the production just didn't give me that outlet that I need to do my thing.
Right, I fucking loved I loved this. I still listen to it, man. Like
Oh,
it's just
nice.
I love when artists do stuff that's different than what fans know them for and what fans are comfortable with, because I feel like it also challenges the fan and the listener to really get out of their box and really give
Right.
this a chance, man. And I fucking loved it. So but I can definitely see where you're good.
Sorry.
I can
Sorry.
definitely see where you're coming from on that as well. As definitely out of the box.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, and like, I wasn't. I mean, I definitely was not my finest moments in that record. For sure. For sure, had some dark hours, but and even touring on it was just kind of like, I was missing something,
mhm.
and it just, music wasn't really doing it for me. I mean, I toured on it, and tried to give it my all. I mean, I did. I gave it my all
Right.
for where I was at, right? For where
Mhm.
I was at, I gave it my all, but I'm in a much better spot now.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely sounds like it. It looks like it. And I
Right.
wanted to ask, writing music just for something that's specifically yours. It's not with Hinder, it's not with a band. This is something that has the Austin John Winkler name on it, your stamp. This is you. Is it
Right.
any different? Does it feel different? Or what are some of the advantages you get with it?
I mean, I think it's somewhat different in the sense that, like, there is no other input whatsoever into it, which is you know it takes a while for me to get there. It took a while for me to get to where I'm been like confident enough to be like,
Sure.
this is all me, as opposed to, like, even in the earlier stuff, with the Hinder days, the first record, Extreme Behavior, I was really vulnerable then. It was vulnerable about my relationships and what I was going through at the time.
Mhm.
And over the years, a lot of things happen, and a lot of
Yeah.
hands get in the pot, and you know,
I love the music industry, man.
yeah, for some reason it keeps dragging me back into it. Right, I can't
Right.
escape it.
Right. Well, you when it's the second you got out of the hospital, out of dialysis, you sat down, you went home, you wrote Super Jaded.
Right.
How validating was the moment that song was done, that song was completed, it was written, not even out, but it was just completed. That
Yeah.
moment for you when everything you had just come out of, this song's done.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was. like, yeah, I had 2 weeks, whatever, that they were going to take me off Dallas. It was like a trial period. They're going to take me off. And in those 2 weeks, I flew to Nashville and recorded like everything I had at the moment at the time. And it came to demo for SuperJaded. I mean, recorded it in like a shack on the outskirts of Nashville, right?
Wow.
And we actually ended up using, I mean, I sang those, like what you're here is what we couldn't top. Like I sang with a catheter sticking out of my chest. And like the first time I heard it like demoed and stuff, I remember I was in my hotel room in Nashville and I heard it demo and it was just like, I mean, I promise you, like my muscles started loosening and like I was like a lot less tense and yeah, it feels good to have it out and people experiencing it, you know, relating to it.
So the Loudwire article just posted and went live very recently. Do you want to talk at all about what you went through and what that journey was like, or do you want to kind of not touch on that at all? You know, I don't want to go into anything that you don't necessarily want to really talk about.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't mind exploring it simply because you know, it's still kind of fresh in my mind. I mean, obviously I have music for therapy and I do have my therapist, but I mean, you know, this is the closest thing I get to talking to my fans, right? So,
sure.
I mean, you know, I had just gotten to a point to where, I mean, it was like, I was hallucinating. I mean, the story that got me into the hospital is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was, I had, like, I would take, this was my routine for the last month. I would wake up, it'd only take 2 shots of vodka and I would be hallucinating. Like I was so far gone.
It's crazy.
I would be hallucinating. And I thought that the cast of House of a Thousand Corpses was in the closet.
Oh my gosh.
Like I thought they were in there and they were going to come out at any moment and kill me. So
that's scary.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
But, and obviously it wasn't the case,
right?
But to me, it was as real.
It was very real.
I mean, it was so real. And I told this story. I still told this story 2 months in the hospital. I was still telling this story. I was so far gone. I was still telling and believing this story that the House of a Thousand Corpses was in this closet.
Wow.
Bizarre.
That's scary.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not something, it's a very scary thing. I can sit back and tell the story now with ease. I mean, not really ease, but just kind of, you know, letting him know how bad it was.
Right. So you get into the hospital and you are yellow. I remember reading what you had talked about, and you know, you're telling the doctor about the hallucinations. They're like, we can help you with that, but you're fucking yellow.
Yeah.
Like, was that just from your kidneys and your liver, or you know?
Yeah, I mean, it was from. It was, I was full jaundice, and he was talking like sometimes your color doesn't come back and all this stuff, and you know, it had gotten like to a point to where I obviously couldn't, like, just lose control of everything, all your bodily functions with the liver and kidney failure. You're basically at the mercy of the hospital, just keeping you alive.
Yeah, that's, well, the fact that you made it through all of that, you go through that, you go on Dallas. You're on dialysis for what, 2 years?
I was on dialysis for a year.
A year.
Yeah, well, it was like 2019 and 20. So
okay.
Both of those.
One thing that I wanted to ask you about that I didn't read about is you got back in February of 2020, I think. Right around the beginning of 2020 is you got out. Then COVID hits.
Yeah.
What was that time like for you? Like, you're clear, you're good, you're just, you know, let's start writing, and then boom, fucking COVID. We're still there, but it was worse then.
It's still there, yeah. I mean, to be honest, the timing was insane because, I mean, I can't imagine going on dialysis in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, people obviously do it, but I feel for them. But the timing actually kind of worked out for me, just where I was at in life, to just kind of relearn all the mechanics of just being human and the day-to-day routines just that everybody does, and I had to learn how to get into those again.
Right. And I
So
mean,
it
I
was
can't even imagine what that process would have. I had a friend at the beginning of 2020 or 21 where he was in a COVID induced coma and for almost, I think, a month. And he got out. He had to literally learn how to walk again because he didn't know, and it's just hearing that stuff is just, the fact that you are with us today and as healthy as you are and doing as well as you are is fucking amazing because,
I mean,
absolutely.
uh,
So
pretty
you get
remarkable.
definitely you get back, you sit down, you start writing. What was the thought process when you sat down to start writing? Did you already have ideas in your head, or were you just like, you know what, I'm going to get back to what at least one thing that I knew, one thing that I know, and that I'm familiar with at least. And did that
Right.
help you kind of get back into the groove of like life again?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it kind of had to start. It kind of had to start with writing songs, right? Because that's how I've operated for well over 20 years, in my career. So that was always what was lacking, in the past, with like the past 2 years or whatever, that I was struggling, was that little spark that gives me confidence and the motivation and the drive and everything to get me out of bed in the morning, is just writing that next song that makes me feel alive. So
That's awesome. And you're now 3 years sober, which
yeah,
is
in May. Yeah.
yes, which
Yeah.
is so beyond happy for you, man.
Thank
Your story really resonates with me because my brother personally is an addict out in
you.
Iowa, and it's been a road, and it
Hmm.
really hit home when I saw the quote that you gave, where you said you can go to rehab a million times, but you have to be ready to do it on your own. You have to really get to the point where you want to do it for it to
Right.
really sink in. Uh,
Yeah.
I understand that completely, and it's
Yeah.
you know, what is life like on your side now when you are sober, you are clean, you are clear. Music honestly is just this one song is to me one of the strongest songs you've written,
Mm.
because your
Thank you.
songwriting is, I almost want to say, underrated. You're such
Oh,
a good songwriter and lyricist, man.
thank you, man. I appreciate it. Um, yeah, no, I was gonna say something about your brother struggling and stuff like that. Like, there's something that I think that gets misinterpreted with addicts and stuff like that. It's that at the end of the day, they're not doing it for
Mhm.
no reason. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? They're not. They don't
Mhm.
just want to wake up and say, you know what,
Yeah,
I'm gonna destroy my life today. They
exactly.
don't. It and that's something that I would love to be, just to bring more awareness to. I mean, and I know that there's like a lot of addicts that are musicians, but addicts are people.
Mhm.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of that's what frustrated me whenever I was trying to get sober. Like, people was like, well, why don't you just stop doing it? Well, dude,
Not that
yeah,
easy.
it's not
You
that
know,
easy. Right.
to hear him say so many times, like, I don't want to do it. I don't
Right.
want to do it, and then
Mm-hmm.
just the smallest things will just, you know, get you back in, So I mean, it's, you know, uh, you are definitely one musician that I've, really, really wanted to see kind of a victory story with, because I, all through high school, huge fan, love
Thank
the
you.
music, and so the just so happy that you're here.
I
Uh,
appreciate you rooting for me, man.
Definitely, man. So this is all self-released right now, correct? You're
Right.
independent. You're on your own career wise.
Right.
Is it different? We're doing this, on
Oh
your
yeah,
own,
it's
independent.
a lot. It's a lot more challenging, man. It's a lot
Yeah,
more
it is.
do it yourself kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's all new. It's all new to me,
Okay.
and we're trying to sort of get it out as many people that can get it in their hands.
Yeah.
So
That's one
that's
thing
the
people
goal.
don't think about is, independent, you have so much more creative freedom and less hands in the
Mhm.
pot. And this is
Right.
what we hear is usually what you set out to write and release and put together in the beginning, but so
Right.
much more work. I have a lot of friends who are musicians, obviously, and
Mhm.
just, man, the hustle,
That's real.
wake up to the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed is just constant all the way through in so many
Yeah.
different ways. It's, but having that freedom has also got to be nice where, like SuperJaded, what we hear, how close is
Mhm.
to that, to what your original vision was for the song?
Oh, spot on. I mean, the video too, man, all of it that came with it, it was, I mean, you always imagine it in your head, and it's not always
Hmm.
spot on, but you look
Right.
at it and go, I gave it my all and I couldn't have done any better job.
Yeah. The
And that's,
video.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The video, man, was that your original vision as well? Because that video tells, I feel like the video is really telling your story, just within the music industry as well, just your personal journey in a lot of ways. The song is
Yeah,
honest, the video is honest, but also production wise, for it to being independent is, good
yeah.
God.
Yeah, no, Knox Studio knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And the I had a lot of different visions for it, man. I mean, I had a I had a lot of different things, mostly vulgar, right? And mostly things that they're like, Austin, you can't do that. Pull you off the cloud. That's gonna be like 400 extras, and like, we're not doing that, stuff like that. So
Right.
what we ended on was just keeping it as simple as we could, and really letting kind of me just kind of do my thing, which felt so good to be able to do again.
That's
So it's
that's
all
awesome.
pretty crazy.
Did you feel any pressure or put any pressure on yourself where it's like, this isn't really just your first song and video back? This is your fans' first glimpse of you in
In like 5, 6 years.
five
Yeah.
and a half, 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it scary at all?
I mean, it was, dude. It definitely was. I was timid because I didn't know if I was going to get out there and clam up, or if I
Right.
was going to like, I'm not a fan of cameras anyway. I'm not a
Mhm.
huge fan of them.
Right.
So, you know, and doing it sober and all that stuff, I didn't know how I was going to react. But as soon as the track started rolling, I knew what I was supposed to do. I mean,
That's
kind of
awesome.
like riding a bike.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I do a lot of work in pro wrestling, and we have a lot of
Oh,
guys. So
cool.
it's like, as soon as that camera hits record, they either lock up or they
Mhm.
just become somebody completely different. And it's just, it's like they get so
Yeah.
comfortable or they get uncomfortable. There's no in the middle, man. So,
Yeah, it's
you
tough.
know,
It's a switch for sure.
yeah. And it's so cool to see that happen.
Mhm.
But I mean, like you said, you had a million different visions for what you wanted the video to look like, all that stuff. What was it like
Yeah.
getting back into the swing of shooting a music video again? Because, obviously you've done a lot of videos and all that stuff in the past and previous
Yeah, I
work.
mean, it wasn't.
You know,
Yeah, it was definitely intimidating. I mean, and there was three people came up, three people that were in the actual video. Three of them came up to me and told me three different stories of either they were an addict, or their loved one's an addict, or they're going through it right now, or they've been sober for 12 years. I mean, it was really that calmed me down to be like, oh, I'm among my people here, right?
right.
So, I mean, a lot of like little things like that just kind of eased the tension a little bit, and you know, it's it's good. It's good that they were there, because it
Hmm.
was pretty nerve wracking,
Really gets you back into your comfort zone a little bit when you know that there's people that with similar stories and journeys as you. You're amongst, like you said, your people that are like you, which
Right.
you touched on earlier, and especially in the rock and metal and hard rock industry and world, so many people. But
Yeah.
there's also a lot of people and a huge movement going on lately where mental health is so
Yeah.
important to talk about right now. And
Right.
you've right there is, your story is, it may be addiction, but it's also mental health too. They go hand in
Oh,
hand in so many ways.
100,
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
People don't think about that when it comes to addiction. It's mental health is a huge part of that too.
It's the start. It's where it starts, right?
Exactly. How often do you think about, that now with the platform you have to really use your story and your voice to help people that maybe they're just like, man, I'm done, or I was done, but now I'm where
Mm.
you are now. You know, it's a really unique situation you have now.
Yeah, I mean, like that video was perfect example of it. I mean, I'm just up there shooting a video. I haven't done one in 10 years,
Yeah.
right? 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And they're coming up and they just felt like it was their duty to be like, he's gonna know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
And it's cool. It's cool. I felt, like I said, I felt like I was among my people. I was like, it's comforting knowing that there's a million people just like you that struggle with it every single day.
Yeah, the biggest thing is knowing that you're not alone in whatever
Right.
is going on, or whatever you've been through, whatever you're going through now. There's somebody in your life that you're around that you may not realize. You're not alone, you know, and it's
Right.
just talking about it, vocalizing it, and just being transparent is the best thing to do. But for some reason, it's still hard for so many people to do, you know?
It is, man. It's hard. It's the hardest thing for me to let go of. I loved it. I loved the fact that I had this secret that, let's be honest, I mean, I'm thinking I'm getting away with it. They don't know I'm using. Well, like they fucking know you're using, right?
Right.
But it was something, my addiction was something that was always mine. And that's why I kind of, in the first line of SuperJaded, is I don't have a memory that you're not in, because for as long as I can remember, I've been attracted to substances to kind of lead me away from things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's such like, I love songs that are poetic like that, and lyrics that are poetic like that, which is probably one reason I love it so much, man. But what does life look like for you now? Are you continuing to write songs? I mean, it's a completely different world when it comes to releasing music now. You don't necessarily have to release a full-length album anymore. You don't have to do an EP. You just put a song up now, you know?
Dude, yeah, I came back to a completely different world, right? So,
right. What was that moment like when you got out and you saw what music is like? You're like, what the hell happened?
well, I mean, I'm still kind of, obviously as an independent artist, I'm still trying to get used to it.
Yeah.
Like it's sometimes awesome and amazing and it makes so much sense. And sometimes you're like, I'm not putting out a full record right now.
Right.
Like, it's not how things are done.
As soon as fans hear one song, man, they're like, do we have an album coming? And I would assume on your side, you're like, dude, just one day at a time right now. Just one day at a time, you know?
Yeah.
One song at a time, one day at a time. And, you know, I would assume more music is going to come, though. So
yeah, I definitely have songs in the chamber ready to go. Like, it just is a matter of how I'm going to lay it out for everybody and stuff like that.
Right.
So, I mean, the first and foremost was hit him with a video, hit him with a single that is you, and basically just let everybody know that's been rooting for you that you're all right. Like that's kind of what another big goal was for shooting SuperJaded. I know it was a big production and bam, right out of the gate, but it was like I gotta do something special for the people that have been on my team.
Yeah, exactly.
My fans been rooting for me.
Yeah, let you know, hey, I'm here. I'm still going. I'm back, you know. And that first song, that first video, that first statement is everything is almost more important than the music that comes out after, because it's like, not only are you back, but god damn, you're back fucking strong, you know. So, you know, that first song is everything, man. It's kind of it's your lead single, you know,
right?
So many ways.
Absolutely.
You know? But I guess the maybe the biggest question I wanted to ask, man, is what does SuperJaded mean to you as the artist, as Austin John Winkler, and what does that song mean to you personally? Because there's so many things that went into that.
You know, as an artist and even as a person, selfishly, this song did so many things for me. Mm-hmm. Like I felt like I finally have written a song that I've said exactly what I wanted to say, and I connect with it. And it literally, like while I was on dialysis, that's when I was just going to say I was on dialysis while I was writing it, and I would just strum it, man, and you know it would get me through the night, man. It would, and I felt like if that song is doing that for me, it's gotta resonate with somebody else out there. Mm-hmm. And so being able to put it out and have people respond with the way they have been, and shooting a video that I feel like I did everything I would have, that I was dreaming in my head. It's visually, I mean, I didn't see exactly that, but I captured the essence of exactly what I wanted to capture.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so SuperJaded is, it's a lot of things for me. It's a goal that, I mean, I had to relearn how to walk in 2019, 2020. Like, the fact that I was even able to get myself in a studio again blew my mind.
Right.
So SuperJaded, from where I was, means everything to me as far as what I've been able to accomplish and overcome.
Absolutely. I feel, you know, that is some of the most powerful words that you can possibly say. And in so many ways, I feel like SuperJaded is it's your victory song, man. This is it's not just your comeback, man. This song it's symbolic, and it means more than just a song being out, you know. You know, and I know I said it once, but I'll say it again, man. The fact that you are here today and not another just tragic rock star story.
Yeah.
For a lot of his fans, man, that means a lot. We're so happy that you're here.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely, man. Dude, thank you so much for sitting down with me tonight.
Absolutely.
Doing
I
this.
appreciate it. I had fun.
I thought it was yesterday, so I was on the Zoom call last night.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that your fault or my end?
That was mine. I forgot what day it was, and I called Kim. She's like, "I'm making pizza." What? I was like, "I'm on Zoom." She's like, "Yeah, it's tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh shit, my bad. Got my days mixed up." So, man, obviously, I have really been looking forward to this, man. And
me too, man.
When I say it, I mean it on a million different levels. Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
I appreciate it, Reggie, man. It's a pleasure, man. Fun talking to you.
Absolutely, man. We will see you down the road at some point again, and keep releasing kick-ass music, dude. I love it.
Thank you, man. Will do.